Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 13th Prix Galien USA Awards.
The Galien Foundation fosters, recognizes, and rewards excellence in scientific innovation to improve the human condition.
André Malraux said once in one of his novels, "Une vie humaine ne vaut rien, mais rien ne vaut une vie humaine." Human life is worth nothing, but nothing is worth a human life. All these men and women are trying to save human lives. Is there anything more noble than that?
Around the globe, the Prix Galien is considered as the equivalent of the Nobel Prize for the industry, mobilizing an unrivaled network of Nobel laureates and top biomedical scientists. The Galien Foundation manages an independent, cross-functional, and geographically diverse program of events and sponsorship to brand the best of the best in new medicines and diagnostics. The Prix Galien is a welcome initiative to stimulate creative research and promote excellence. Barack Obama. The Galien Awards ceremony is considered the equivalent of the Oscars night for the innovators in the labs and awards every year the best pharmaceutical product, the best biotechnology product, the best medical technology. The Roy Vagelos Pro Bono Humanum Award for Global Health Equity is bestowed to an individual, a company, an academic institution, or a non-governmental agency that has helped to improve the human condition through the application of biopharmaceutical science to problems of developing or underserved populations worldwide.
This is the right event, on the right issue, at the right time.
I thank His Excellency, the President, for bringing Prix Galien to Africa, and I look forward to the day when we will celebrate an African winner of the Prix Galien.
I'm particularly grateful to receive this award.
The awards are among the highest honors in science and commerce because they lead to improvement in the human condition.
The Prix Galien Awards recognize the world's brightest minds and most innovative companies. They are a true celebration of the hard work required to produce life-changing interventions.
That is what makes us optimistic about the future.
Congratulations to all of you.
Make a difference. Join the Galien Foundation.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Professor Cato Lorenzen, committee member of Prix Galien USA.
Well, I want to welcome everyone here to the annual Prix Galien Awards, where we celebrate innovation to improve the human condition and recognize the blood, sweat, toil, and tears that innovation requires. I am Dr. Cato Lorenzen, the university professor at the University of Connecticut and the Albert and Wilda Van Dusen Distinguished Professor of Orthopedic Surgery at UConn Health. And it's my really distinct honor to launch our event tonight. Now, launch is an important word, given this year's 50th anniversary of the first human moon landing. I was recently at the National Academy of Engineering meeting in Washington, where many on the ground at the time of the launch recounted the risk and the excitement that took place. I remember thinking how lucky we were that it all worked out. Coming together here tonight in this Hall of the Universe reminds me of that launch. It reminds me how frail human life is, how the struggle to aid the human condition, that tough times go away, but tough people don't, and how opportunity, danger, risk, passion, intelligence, and yes, luck are all the ingredients for innovation. For those of you who have participated in previous ceremonies, you'll recall that we used to launch the evening in the rotunda with the beloved dinosaur. Well, we have in many ways left the fossils of the past, behind to show we are moving deliberately to the boundless future. Next year in 2020 will be the Prix Gallien's Golden Jubilee, representing 50 years of honoring innovation to improve the human condition. I now have the pleasure of providing an introduction to the Roy Vagelos Pro Bono Humanum Award for Global Health Equity. Recognizing and rewarding big ideas and bold thinkers and providing them with a launch pad is also something that Jim and Marilyn Simons have done so well and have done so creatively. Jim and Marilyn are here with us tonight, and we are truly honored to present them with the Gallian Foundation's Roy Vagelos Pro Bono Humanum Award for Global Health Equity this evening. This annual award recognizes outstanding efforts into improving the human condition through the application of pharmaceutical science to problems of developing or underserved populations worldwide. Through the Simons Foundation and the Flatiron Institute, Jim and Marilyn have given hundreds of millions of dollars each year to, quote, advance the frontiers of research in mathematics and the basic sciences, unquote. Their projects are wildly ambitious and far-ranging, including global initiatives investigating the mysteries of the brain, ocean ecology, and the origins of the universe. Now, their efforts have transformed the potential of innovation and really played a critical role worldwide in advancing collaborative philanthropy. To present this award, I'm very pleased to ask Roy Vagelos himself to do the honors. Roy was the Prix Gallien USA Committee Chair before Sue Desmond-Hellman, who regrets that she cannot travel to be here tonight. Roy continues to serve on the committee today. He is the retired chairman and CEO of Merck and current chairman of Regeneron. He was the first recipient of the Pro Bono Humanum Award for his historic decision at Merck to donate the drug Mectizan to hundreds of millions of people to treat and preserve river blindness. I always remember the famous sentence of Roy when he said, "We will provide as much as necessary for as long as necessary." So this award was established in 2007 under the late Elie Wiesel, the honorary founding president and the Nobel Peace Prize recipient. So again, please join me in welcoming Roy Vagelos. Roy.
Thank you. Thanks, Cato. I just want to say a few words about the Simonses. The award, of course, is going to the Simons Foundation, which is Jim and Marilyn. Jim has an incredible background. He is probably one of the greatest mathematicians in the world, and he was academic for many years, having been trained at MIT and then University of California in Berkeley, where he did a PhD in a very short time. He then went into teaching. He worked for the government for a while to break codes, and then he went back to teaching at both Harvard and MIT. And then at one point in his career, he decided he was going to become an investor. And of course, that investment took a strategy using mathematics in due time, and then he devised a strategy which was able to do hedge fund investing, which he did in a manner very special to Jim Simons, where he was able to model mathematically exactly what stock prices would do, and could then automatically do the investing. And this was incredibly successful, growing for over 20 years at a compounded rate of 35% each year. And so that led to an accumulation of wealth that he and Marilyn then began contributing in a magnificent way. So he is a great mathematician, and Marilyn and Jim are even greater philanthropists. And so for that reason, he is receiving this award tonight. Jim and Marilyn, would you please come forward?
First, I want to thank you, Roy, for that kind introduction. And I want to say that what you did at Merck to help with river blindness is an inspiration to all of us. Thank you for your leadership. Good evening. Jim and I are really pleased to be here tonight and to be receiving the Roy Vagelos Pro Bono Humanum Award for our work at the Simons Foundation. It's a great honor to be joining this community. And like you, we are really concerned about global health equity and want to do our part to help. I thought I would say a few things about the Simons Foundation. First, we actually started the foundation 25 years ago, back in 1994, and it was with $1 million contribution. And what happened with our foundation is we started our little family foundation as soon as we had extra income. And who knew that business would be so good? And we invested in the business with the endowment that we were able to build up. And it all happened much faster than we ever anticipated. So when we started out in philanthropy in 1994, our interests were broad, our goals vague, and our checkbook modest. But all that changed over time as our endowment grew, and we had a couple of epiphanies. I thought I'd share a couple of these with you. One is, one day Jim and I were talking about a solicitation we received, and Jim said to me, you know, we should give to things we want to give to. And I thought to myself, hey, that's pretty smart. He really is a very smart guy. And so we learned about being proactive rather than just reactive. And if you fast forward a little bit, one day after I was looking at our financial statements, I said to Jim, hey, we could give a lot of money to one thing and try to have an impact. So over the first 10 years, we saw a lot of fundraisers. They were all good teachers. We met a lot of people involved at the university, and they were really helpful educators, broadening our interests. It wasn't until 2004 that we really zeroed in on our focus, and we decided we both liked math and science and valued research, so we thought, let's focus on basic science research. And, you know, we could see the value in allowing researchers to take risks and see the unexpected places their breakthroughs might take us. And it was really our hope that through investing in basic science research, we would be able to achieve our noblest goals. So a little bit about our foundation. We have 3 areas of research. We have grant making. We have a second area of focus, grant making is external grants to researchers. We have 18 collaborative grants we give out, and Jim will be talking more about that. And our third focus is our own internal research. We also do have an outreach and education program where we seek to bring science and math to broader audiences. And we also, through our association with the Science Philanthropy Alliance, encourage other philanthropists to consider making funding of basic science research a part of their portfolio. So I'll tell you a little bit about our very first scientific program, our autism research program, because in many ways, it became a model for us in our work. In 2003, we hosted a roundtable bringing in scientists to tell us about the landscape of knowledge about autism. In 2004, we were lucky to partner and give a grant to Mike Wigler, who's here tonight, and he really launched a terrific out-of-the-box thinking about how we might look for de novo mutations in autism. And fortunately, we recruited Jerry Fishbach, who changed our paradigm totally. Well, I'll just kind of fast forward a little bit. We developed a genetic database that we made available to all kinds of scientific researchers. We started with a collection of 2,600 families, and today, based on what we learned in that first database, we're now expanding to collect hopefully 50,000 families to participate. We are presently working with 30 research institutions, and hopefully with our work through our SPARK project, hopefully we will identify more genes and be able to match researchers with participants in our project and spur our knowledge. So we do hope that one day, through our understanding of the mechanisms involved in autism, we will be able to provide help that will improve quality of life for children and families. Okay. So our autism research project, kind of as I mentioned, has become a template for us. We regularly use roundtables, workshops, annual conferences, RFAs, targeted grants, always attracting high-quality researchers and supporting the pipeline of scientists in the field. But most importantly, what we learned about is the importance of collaboration. Collaboration underpins all the work we do. We collaborate with research institutions, governments, other philanthropies, etc. So Jim is going to talk a little bit about our collaborations, but I'd like to say a few words about my co-honoree before I yield the mic. When we got married 42 years ago, almost, I can pretty confidently say Jim and I never imagined working together. We've been stepping on each other's toes a bit at the start. It was bumpy, but it's also been a really fruitful, wonderful partnership. Today, we're both involved with the foundation full-time, and we love the opportunity to go to the office every day and learn about cutting-edge science today. I've come to appreciate working at the foundation that to be a researcher, you have to be an optimist. I myself studied economics, the dismal science. I don't really think of myself as a pessimist, just a realist and a pragmatist. But Jim is an optimist, and it's been great working with him. He's determined, hard-driving, inspiring, and visionary. And he's pretty good at mathematics, too. Okay.
Well, at 81, I'm pretty good at mathematics. But when I was 31, I was a heck of a lot better. So the foundation is wonderful, and working with Marilyn is, generally speaking, wonderful. Well, you know, it's not perfect, but it's terrific. So as the foundation grew, we were giving grants to individuals, both in autism, in math and physical science, and in life sciences. We had 3 programs, grant-giving programs, and that was going well. But I got the idea that maybe we should do something different and do collaborations, goal-driven collaborations. So we had a meeting at a place called Buttermilk Falls up the Hudson, which I'm sure none of you has ever heard of. But we had about 20 very distinguished scientists there, physicists and chemists and biologists, and to discuss the issue of, or the idea of goal-driven collaborative projects. These guys all sat around and discussed it. David Baltimore was chaired the meeting, and in the course of the meeting, it was determined, yes, this would be a good idea as long as we stuck to this or that or this or that. And so we left there determined to do collaborations. The very first one was Origins of Life. Now, who doesn't want to know how life began? Well, we know now that we started that collaboration about 7 years ago. We know more now than we knew before, but I don't think we know exactly the origins of life. But we're making progress. And we have 20 principal investigators and a bunch of postdocs, but they collaborate, they interact with each other. And I'm a big believer in collaboration because I think things just accelerate that way, accelerate better. So that was our first collaboration. Now we've done one on ocean processes and ecology, understanding all the interactions of bacterial life that goes on in the oceans. We have actually, and we have a collaboration called the Global Brain, which looks at the dynamics of our brains and tries to dope out how our brains actually work, which is quite a question. And in fact, we have 18 of these collaborations, and they range from $2 million a year to $17 million a year, and you can imagine that the life science ones cost a lot more than the mathematics ones. But that's the way it is. That's the way it is. But something else came out of that meeting And there was a woman mathematician named Ingrid Dubishes. And she suggested we do something in data analysis. And maybe not a collaboration, but some kind of long-term effort. And I really liked that idea because that's how I, made a lot of money by analyzing financial data. And okay. So we started a project. It was called the Science Center for Data Analysis, SCADA. And it was headed by a guy named Leslie Greengard, who's the son of Paul Greengard. Well, Leslie is a member of the National Academy of Science and the National Academy of Engineering, and en passant, he has an MD. So he started up this group, and they focused on biology. And it was great. They did wonderful work, developing algorithms and new techniques to do biology in various ways. And it was going so well, we decided, Marilyn and I, to generalize the whole proposition. So we decided to make something that ended up being called the Flatiron Institute. And it's not only computational biology, and the Flatiron Institute is based on computation. So now we have computational biology, computational astrophysics, computational quantum physics, computational mathematics itself, and the last unit is going to be computational neuroscience. And this has been just splendid. It's so much fun to do research in-house. And the grant givers side, I think, is stimulated by the scientists at Flatiron. So it's one of the things I'm most proud of, and I think Marilyn too, is developing this Flatiron Institute. So here we are. We've run the foundation for quite some time. And, I suppose at some point we'll retire. But it's funded to last forever. It has a very, very good endowment. And the conditions on the bylaws state that, first of all, the foundation forever has to focus on science. 90% needs to be science, mathematics and science, of which 60% needs to be basic and 30% could be translational. And the other 10% can be education and outreach. And we do a lot of that, actually. And secondly, the board itself has to have a majority of scientists on it at all times and has to represent mathematics, physical science, and life science. So this is our way of avoiding mission creep when we have passed on. And so with the good endowment and these restrictions, we think we'll be supporting, science. Forever is a long time, but as far as we can see. So thank you for this award, and let's all have a good time.